19th of August 2020. My name is Sergey Baklykov, and I'm here in Staraya Ladoga, an old Ladoga, founded in 753. Yes, 753, not 1000, but 753. Until 1703, it used to be just known as just Ladoga. But in 1703, Peter the Great also founded another Ladoga, which he called New Ladoga, and this was called an Old Ladoga. An Old Ladoga, this is a pretty significant place for the whole Russia, because that's exactly where from Russia was started. Here came the Varangians in about 860th year. In 862, here came Rurik. For 2 years he was here, but then moved down through Volkhov River, and he came to Novgorod the Great. And it's like Novgorod the Great became the father of Russian cities. But everything was started here. This is Volkhov River, and it goes into, like some kilometers from here, it is already flows into Lake Ladoga. So you see the town of Ladoga, Lake Ladoga. And the historians, they are actually, there's many disputes about it. What was the first? Here is actually the river Ladoga, town of Ladoga, and Lake Ladoga. What was the first? But mostly they are thinking that the first was Lake Ladoga. The Lake Ladoga, then from Lake Ladoga flows into Neva River, and Neva River flows into the Baltic Sea. So that's why this place also was a part of so-called from Varangians to Greek. Yeah, look at this. You have no idea. What a view. I mean, what a significant view. We are in absolutely historical place. The place with more than 1,267 years history. 12 centuries ago. Well, first here came Scandinavians, but then, like 100 years, almost 100 years, about 100 years after, here came the Slavs, so-called, and Varangians. And that's where from started the history of Russia. Rurik started here in 862. He was sitting here for 2 years, as I said, and in 864 he moved to Novgorod the Great. And Rurik, that's the one who started the dynasty of Ruriks. The dynasty of Ruriks existed for almost 700 years until there came the Romanovs. And look, here is actually, from here we can see the view to the town. It's a small town. Now here lives only 2,000 residents. And there, we can see an old Ladoga fortress. It's not as old as the town, but still pretty old. It is founded in 1116, so like 200 years, nine centuries. Okay, let's go there. Welcome and keep joining. As I told you, during my road trip here, I actually also was streaming while I was driving here from St. Petersburg. It was like 2 hours drive, 120 kilometers. And I told you that shamefully, but even though I live in St. Petersburg already for 2 years, and it's pretty close to St. Petersburg, only 120 kilometers. I'm for the first time here. I've been to many other places. I've been to, let's say, Pskov, Novgorod the Great, what else? Ivangorod, Vyborg, but never here yet. This is pretty significant. I think this is pretty significant. Wow. That's why I decided to start with that panorama, like a little bit side of this city. And look, here is even the sign. So now I step into Staraya Ladoga. Staraya Ladoga. An old Ladoga. But it was known as just Ladoga. Only in 1703 there came the separation because Peter the Great founded like another Ladoga, new Ladoga. It's not that far from here. So now we have an old Ladoga and new Ladoga. Ladoga, the history of Russia. The history begins here. I guess you even still have no idea what it really means, what it's really all about. Россия. Россия. История России начинается здесь. The history of Russia begins here. So we've got into the city, town, I would say town. One of the oldest towns of Russia. And I'm here with Albina, of course, and with Victoria, my daughter. You're shy again? Я и так и снимаю.
Нет, когда с тобой.
Mm-hmm.
Чтобы я себя видела.
Альбиночка, Вика. Well, here you don't expect like something really big, something really great. It's still a small town. I guess by size even like closer to the village. But, however, it's pretty significant place. And this is, by the way, like the beginning of already the next road trip. Yeah, I told you that I will keep making the road trips as soon as it will be possible. So I just got back from the road trip to Urals, Magnitogorsk, Челябинск, Тюмень, Екатеринбург, Perm. And then I went to Kirov on the way from Perm, from Ural back to St. Petersburg. Also, I went to Kirov and to Vologda. The souvenir mall. Look, I see there's... Come on. Abandoned historical building. Seems like 19th century. Yeah, some places was damaged during the World War II. As you know, the Nazis, they were in Leningrad region, and actually they tried to control Ladoga, because if you remember Lake Ladoga, not the town of Ladoga, but Lake Ladoga, it used to be the road of life. because when St. Petersburg was besieged, from one side with Nazis, from another side with Finnish army. So the only way to get out was through Lake Ladoga. Maria, love your videos. Thank you for Corona guiding me. Hugs from Norway. You're welcome. Welcome big time. I do my best. I just do my best. I told you all of this super chats that you're sending, then I use for the new road trips. So that's why actually this road trip happens pretty quick. It happens pretty quick because while I was traveling the Urals, you kept supporting with super chats, super stickers. So pretty quick, I formed already another budget to bring you more and more of content. And let's say tomorrow we will go to another absolutely new place. As for me, as for my channel, and for you, it's the town of Staraya Russa, an old Russa. It's also it used to be one of the most significant cities in ancient Russia, on the territory of Novgorod land. Actually, back then, many centuries ago, in 11th, 12th, 13th century, you say Novgorod land, actually suppose Russia. Volkhov River. If you will go there, you actually will get to Lake Ladoga. You will get to Lake Ladoga. Then from there you can get to Neva River, and from Neva River to Baltic Sea. But if you will keep going there, you actually can get to Ilmen Lake, to Volga River, and actually to everywhere. So it was a part of so-called water path from Varangians to Greeks. JJNS, you have a beautiful, loving, and supportive family. Blessings to all of them. Thank you pretty much. Pretty much. Wow. The Russian history began here. Русская история началась здесь. In about like 750 years, here was the Scandinavian people lived here, but later came Varangians and Slavs, and actually got this territory. And in 862, here came Rurik, the founder of the dynasty of Ruriks. Dynasty of Ruriks, which has ruled Russia for 7 centuries. It looks like it was some kind of school or something. Seems like the building is in a bad conditions, but still in a bad condition, but still easy to say how it used to be, and how it used to be, and to recover one day. I love the way they are constructed in 18th, already in 18th, 17th, 19th century. You see, we can see that, let's say, the wooden parts, of course, like they are rotten and got destroyed, but all the brick parts are still pretty okay. Pretty okay. Look, from this point, we can see how really big are the walls of all of those pre-revolutionary buildings. They are really thick, I mean. But okay, let's keep going. First, where I'm gonna go now to the church of Saint John the Baptist. There it is. Colin Culver, the lake is so large. I became seasick on our cruise ship because it was so choppy. Yes, it's one of the biggest lakes in the world, so that's why people already back then, like more than 1,000 years ago, they was pretty interested in it, and they understood it right, that a big water means a big life. I already told you many times in my videos and my live streams that most of old Russian towns, they were founded on the banks of the rivers or big lakes, because back then it was the main ways of for everything, for migrations, for trading, for battles, like the ships, that was the main thing. the main transportation. Somebody lives right next to the history, 12th century's history of Russia. The Russian life was here already more than 12 centuries ago. At first, Scandinavians, Vikings, and then Varangians and Slavs. Saint John the Baptist Church. Truly Russian folk music sounds here. I'm sure that people are pretty much absorbed with the history here. If you will stay here for a month, you definitely will want to start listening to the Russian folk music too. Also, here is right next to the Saint John the Baptist Church is located at the Holy Spring. The first mention about this church was in 1276, but exactly this church was constructed in 1695, in the end of 17th century. Россия. Россия. Вы только посмотрите. You just look at this. Россия. And that's really Russia now. Whoa. I'm telling you, this year, my channel, Russia on my channel as real as never before. And I'm making the channel ready for almost 8 years, okay? Volkhov River. I keep getting back to this because that's really makes sense to look at this and somehow to fix in the memory and to feel the energy of this place, because really it is all charged with the energy. Uh, it's uh, it's mind blowing to imagine what used to be here centuries and centuries ago. Well, it's just kind of turned to be like a provincial place. But back then, the face of Russia, for many, many times, was made here in 9th century. Exactly here came Rurik, and maybe even he was walking through exactly that lands, that ground where I'm staying now. And this is mind blowing. This is mind blowing. Whoa. Let's keep walking, dudes. Oh, Nicholas Peterson. Thank you so much. All the time. All the time. Contributor. Staraya Ladoga and Old Ladoga. The very first capital of Russia. The history of Russia started here. Rurik, Varangian Rurik came here and started to rule the lands which turned to be Russia. Well, now here is just like, some relatively modern buildings. About 2,000 people, the residents living here, permanent residents. You see, even here they have the buses, the regular buses. And there's the store. Нет, пока идем, пока идем, пока идем. Никуда не надо переносить. There's the store, the residential buildings, private houses, and old wooden private houses. Or maybe this is somebody's daches. I don't know. Sergey, you walk very fast. Yeah, I just see the sunset is coming. The sunset is coming. And by the way, here is also located Varyazhskaya Varyazhskaya street, which is considered as the oldest street in Russia. Вот набери Варяжская улица. Хоть где. Яндекс, Google.
Вот.
Нет, памятник вышел.
Моряжская улица, Старая Ладога.
Okay, let's keep going. It seems like here is the only one central street, but many little streets. And one of them is Varyazhskaya, like a Varangian street. Typical wooden houses, Russian wooden houses. Now here is the hotel, гостиница, hotel. That's how we say this in Russian language, гостиница.
А тут не смотрел?
Смотрел все я. I also see there's the stadium. And now somebody playing probably football. I've heard the whistle. I always read about Kiev and Rus origin, but never about this town. That's pretty strange. That's pretty strange because yeah, like an old Ladoga was the capital of Russia, and then Novgorod the Great, the town of Novgorod the Great, and it was way before Kiev became the capital of Russia. And when I went to Novgorod the Great, I told you that right from the very beginning of the history of exactly like Russia as Russia, Russia started to be developed in two ways. First, because look, Rurik, he came here to Lake Ladoga and Ladoga to this town and started to rule here. And then he went to Novgorod the Great. But his associates, Askold and Dir, they came to Kiev. And the thing is that actually here to Ladoga, he was invited as a hired manager, as we would say now, okay? And that's why actually what Rurik did and his and people after him, they developed the republic. So Novgorod lands, it was the republic, Novgorod Republic. There was Veche, it's a people's council. But Ascolt and Dir in Kiev, they are captured the authority with a force. And that's why there the Russia started to be developed as a monarchy, as autocracy. And already from the very beginning, Russia was developed in two ways: monarchy and republican. So here is the Assumption Nunnery, Old Ladoga Assumption Nunnery, and Assumption Church there. Look, here it is. Nunnery. Also, we can say monastery. You see, 900 years. It's, of course, an Orthodox Christian nunnery. And it goes right next to John the Baptist Church, also located on the bank of Volkhov River. Volkhov River. Here just in like several kilometers from the place where Volkhov flows into Ladoga. You can actually now go to, let's say, Google Maps, and you will see that. You will see that. Just search for Staraya Ladoga or Old Ladoga. You must find it. And you know, if to continue the story about the development of Russia in both ways, and pretty contrary ways, republican and monarchy. So that's why in Novgorod the Great, inside of the Kremlin, there is the monument to Millennium of Russia, and that's why it looks like lower parts of the bell, and in the upper parts there is, how to say, such an orb. It's like such a like a bowl form, an orb. The thing is, the bell, it's a symbol. The bell, it's a symbol of people's council, because look, literally, when the town was need to discuss something, they were ringing the bell. All the people heard it, and they were coming to discuss all the problems that they have, all the questions. It can be just a routine questions, or it can be like maybe to discuss some really big problems. For example, criminal or something. Maybe to make course. So that's the bell. And an orb, it's a symbol of the authority in one hand. The monastery is relatively big. There is the tower, typical tower for communications, TV, and internet. So that's why here LTE works pretty good. Сказочный двор. It's like a fairy двор, fairy court. The museum. It's now closed. We can't get inside. Okay. Yes, the population here is 2,000 people. To be exact, 1954. So it's 2,000, okay? Look, it's pretty good. We, of course, don't have to forget that before baptism of Russia, the Slavic people, they were the pagans, paganry, and it seems like here is the pagan symbols. Wow, it really would be great to visit it, but unfortunately, because of the specifics of my channel, the specifics that I am in Russia, you know, and most of my audience is outside of Russia, almost in the contrary parts of the world. And if I will make my videos by day, most of my viewers will not be able to watch it live. Okay. Well, this is really like the museum dedicated to an old pagan fairies. You know, I told you it's called Сказочный двор, fairy court, and it seems like here is it's all dedicated to like a really old, even like pre-Christian folklore or something. Or maybe not pre-Christian, because I believe that, yes, maybe for several centuries, many people were staying true to paganry. Wow. But I love such a things. I love, this is, however, at least the guarantee that I will get back here again. Okay? Oh, Salvador Dali. Look at this. Here is the store. Seems like a craftsman store. Souvenirs. Древняя Ладога. Ancient Ладога. The restaurants. Пельмени, вареники, dumplings. Homemade dumplings. I love it. I love it. I love the restaurants in a house, wooden house like this. If you want to get some atmosphere, some of that old atmosphere, welcome. I told you that this is the store of crafts, of handmade things, craft things. Here is actually the window where we can see what it is all about. And this is just a grocery part, just a usual grocery store. Another restaurant, Prince Rurik. That's how it's called. Prince Rurik. Not that prince who singing Purple Rain, okay? Not that one. Purple rain, purple rain. What? Restaurant Принц Рюрик.
Вообще-то князь Юрик.
Вообще-то по-английски надо сказать принц, окей? Now what we have here? Monuments, founders of the Russian state, Rurik and Oleg. Merchants Kalyazin's house, archaeological museum. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there.
Куда?
Yeah. And look, we are getting now to the main place, Old Ladoga Fortress, founded in 1116 on a place of a wooden one. At first there was the wooden fortress, but then was constructed the stone fortress. Wow. Wearing jeans. Rurik and Oleg. Actually, prophetic Oleg. And by one of the versions, his the graveyards of Oleg is located here. I mean, not exactly here, but in Old Ladoga. Look, these guys, 12 centuries ago, came and began Russia. Unfortunately, not too long ago, there happened a bad thing. The fire.
Чё?
To the great princes Rurik and the prophetic Oleg, the founders of Russian state. It's a big time. They are staying right next to Volkhov River and an old Ladoga fortress. Varangians. Rurik, Oleg. It's cool. It's pretty cool. Вика, куда вы пошли? Туда. And this is the fortress. An old Ladoga fortress. Yes, we can say the Kremlin, because Kremlin, it exactly means fortress. You don't forget likes, because now you see the place where already 13 centuries ago, almost 13 centuries ago, here was one of the most significant events which happened in the world, the foundation of Russia. Yes, there's the way to go inside, but again, I'm not sure if it's possible now when it's almost 9 p.m. Okay.
Да, вообще можно зайти? Кошки там.
This is Russia, yes. Now it's hard to invent more Russian landscape than what you see here. The fortress next to the river and next to a huge forest. And awesome sky.
Вот сейчас сумку вырвем, повысь нормально, повысь. Давай нормально, выше. Что-то мальчик увидел, все что ли? Не нравится? Нет, недавно нравилось. Вот нормально все, главное. Конце, вот из деревни все.
Rurik Varangian came here and started to rule. Founded Russia. Whoa, big time. And by the way, this monument which is staying here, it is staying on Varyazhskaya Street. It's like Varangian's Street, and this is admitted as the oldest street in Russia. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Let's walk a little bit through the oldest street. I now connected the charger. Let me know if you still can see the picture. Those who are watching all the time knows that sometimes it happens. So that's when I connect the power bank, the picture turns black. Varyazhskaya Street, house number 4. Well, somebody's enjoying living in the oldest street in Russia. I like that carved frame around the windows, but not the windows themselves. I mean, these plastic windows are okay for the modern houses, but not that okay for the houses which like supposed to look like they are old. Самая старая улица в России. Old Ladoga, founded in at least 753rd year. In 862, it has became the first capital of Russia. For 2 years, Rurik, he was here, but then moved down to Volkhov River and came to Novgorod the Great. Novgorod the Great, and Novgorod the Great became the father of Russian towns in the moment when his associates they moved to Kiev, and that's how Russia started to develop both ways. I already told you about this. In Kiev, where the guys got the authority with the power, with the force, it was monarchy way, and here it developed as republic. Oh, look, this is one of Russian traditions in every Russian town. Actually, you can see this. One of the bridges, what they do, they lock the locks with their names. It's people who are getting married. On the locks, they are writing their names and lock it, and falling the keys into the river. It's like the symbol that their love will be fixed forever, like this lock. But you know, to say honest, when there's too much of locks, the city service just coming and cut them all. Not to mention that for some bridges, a big amount of locks actually can influence the construction, and it's like just can be not safe. I hope that after that, all of those guys who locked these locks, they are not divorcing. Well, personally, I was not making the thing like this. I'm romantic, you know, but I wasn't making this. I actually have my wedding on video, on DVD. When I got married 15 years ago, DVDs were pretty popular yet. And actually the group of operators who was making the movie for me, they were making that in an old school format in DVD, and they record maybe one day I will convert it into the formats which will be okay for YouTube. So we've got even closer to an old Ladoga fortress. Yes, unfortunately, it's obvious it's closed now. I'm not sure why, let's say, in some towns, they are closing the Kremlins for a night time, and some are not. Let's say when I've been to Nizhny Novgorod, I remember it was opened, and like, if maybe not 24/7, but at least until like midnight. Well, you can walk. What's the problem? No problem. And you remember what a great sunset we saw in Nizhny Novgorod. The sunset above Volga River. It's probably was one of the most highlights, at least mine. One of the most highlights recalls about this year, about this summer, which is, by the way, keep going. And look, here it seems like here was an earthworks, and we still can see the earthworks. we saw the earthworks like this in, let's say, Переславль-Залесский, when I was making the road trip through the Golden Ring of Russia. Викочка, Викочка, это Россия, это Россия, история России. Well, I'm trying to travel with Victoria so she to learn the history and culture. It's much better than from the books. Now, it's so mind-blowing to imagine that she will learn about all of this, not just like look at the book, just at the pictures, and like not really understand half of it or maybe like 80% of it, but she exactly will know what they are talking about, because now she's seeing it all with her own eyes. And I'm trying also to tell her in a pretty simple language what it is all about. Usually an earthworks, they are much bigger, or they makes no sense. But usually when we're coming to an old Russian towns, they are already not that big. Usually, what does it mean in earthworks? They were making the constructions made of woods, so such a wooden constructions, and then they bury this all with the ground. So that's how they were getting a pretty tall earthworks. Again and again, I'm getting back to the bank of Volkhov River, because believe me or not, but even when I was a boy, I don't know why, but I always imagined an old Russia for myself, something like this. That an old Russia looked like this. It's hard to believe it. And that's really it is. It looks about same as I imagined to myself. Volkhov River. Those who just joined, let me tell you that exactly on the bank of Volkhov River was founded Old Ladoga, and here came Rurik, Prince Rurik, Varangian, who started to rule Russia, who actually founded Russia and started to rule it. In 862, it has became the first capital of Russia. Whoa. Look, if you will go this way in several kilometers, there will be Lake Ladoga. From Lake Ladoga, you can get to Neva River, from Neva River to Baltic Sea. And so with Volkhov River from Baltic Sea, you can get to the Greeks. This is a part of the famous river or water path from Varangians to Greeks. There, if you will keep going by Volkhov, you can get to Volga and more, just to everywhere. Россия. Это Россия. Michael Heiter. Thank you big time for super sticker. It's not a girl, Nevsky, but it's pretty good to see that you appreciate seeing the history and culture as well. And earthworks.
Мама.
Ладога. Давайте отсюда. It's actually not only the earthworks, not just the earthworks, but yeah, like this is what is left of so-called Earth Town. And the last significant point here must be Saint Nicholas Monastery. It's a man monastery. If that one was nunnery, it means like a women monastery nunnery, the Assumption nunnery. So that one will be a man monastery. Here is actually everything in such earthworks, which is still an evidence there was the earth town or a ground town, not sure how to say this in English, земляное городище. Yes, the time now 9:06, temperature plus 13, and yeah, like pretty pretty cool.
Агавы, это агавы, это агавы. Ну так сфотографируй, пришли. Скажи, что экзотическое, напиши, что у тебя производит впечатление вот эта вот растительность буйная, которая не имеет вообще, имеет море оттенков
An
зелени.
old Ladoga. Finally, I actually fulfilled this. Uh, I mean, really, really big depth, the historical depth before myself. Not visiting an old Ladoga. I told you in the beginning that, damn, damn, I live in St. Petersburg already for 2 years. And here's an old Ladoga just in 120 kilometers from St. Petersburg, but never been here yet. I've been to Novgorod the Great, if you remember. I've been to, I don't know, Ivangorod, Pskov, Vyborg, but never here yet. And tomorrow we'll go to Staraya Russa, an old Russa. It's not far from Novgorod the Great. So actually, this is the trip which we can call like exploring the former Novgorod land. Okay. This is really like already like the fifth road trip for the last 2 months, and I was not sure how to call this. How to call this road trip, but now I've got it. Maybe this is something like exploring the former Novgorod lands. Hey, cool, thank you. This is Nikolskaya Street, Nikolskaya, because leads to Nicholas Monastery. I told you this this year, Russia is never yet was more real than this year in my videos. And I'm making the channel already for almost 8 years, okay? So finally, this is the real Russia in all ways. Look, this is really one of the oldest towns of Russia. This is the very first capital of Russia. This is Real Russia channel. This is real-time live stream. It's never, it is never was more real on my channel yet. And nice to see you love it, because 300 people online, that's good. That's good considering that Here is no street musicians. This is not Nevsky. Here is no girls, no street musicians. But here's just a pure history of Russia. So 300 people online for such a content. That's good. So Nicholas Monastery. And what I like about such a really old places, which is staying provincial, that not everything is like freshly restored. And here still you can feel that spirit, that really old spirit, still untouched. Ray Kanak, thank you. Thank you too. And here is the ferry, Volkhov. I started with a panorama of Volkhov River and gonna finish with a panorama of Volkhov River as actually the most significant place in Russia. Maybe not the most, I don't know, maybe not the most beautiful, but it's beautiful, and it's most significant because the Russia started here, really started here. The ferry. It's nice to see that probably enough of ships from time to time are coming here. I believe they have something like boat cruises. Wow. Россия. Вот это настоящая Россия. Now this is the real Russia. Россия. Да, это Россия. Ingvar Zeds, get Vika some ice cream and thank you for your stream, Sergey. You're welcome, big time. And Emma, yes, I've got it. Thank you so much. I just usually it takes for me some time, some days, several days to respond. Everybody, everybody. Uh, Thank you, big time. And look, this is now really the most ideal place to finish this live stream in an old Ladoga. I'm absolutely happy today to be here, especially in such a great weather. I'm glad that another road trip started. This is pretty great, pretty great. The road trip. Yes, I started it pretty quick after the Ural road trip because, come on, so I've got again enough of budget, thankful to your contributions, and here I go. I'm telling you that I just formed the budget for the road trips, and we exploring. Yes, I mean we, not only me, but you too, because I'm making this for you, and it's great today to be here, all together, enjoy the time. Damn, I only wish that now I'm sure that watching this, it can completely to pass all the impressions that you're getting staying here in real. So that's why welcome to Russia. Welcome to Russia anytime when it will be possible. And if you will visit St. Petersburg, so yeah, you can also visit this place, the places like this, Old Ladoga, Novgorod the Great, I don't know, Ivangorod, yeah, Pskov, Vyborg. That would be great. That would be great. Okay, thank you for watching and see you tomorrow. Jay Gibson, Sergey, another great live stream. That senses. Yes. So see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will go to Staraya Russa. And Staraya means old Russa. And you know, even the name of the town, Russa, it sounds like sound Rus. You know, it has the root Rus, Russa. And I believe it's going to be another absolutely exciting old Russian town with a huge history, because this is also, it's the town of Novgorod lands, Novgorod lands. And Novgorod lands was actually like the synonym of Russia. You say Novgorod lands and you suppose Russia. Викторичка, Виктория. Ну посмотри, ну шикарно, да? Вот Россия,
Сейчас надо
Россия
сфоткать.
началась здесь. Russia began here. And yeah, it's so nice. Now, after I will finish this live stream, I will hug my family, my wife and my daughter, and we will enjoy the rest of the sunset, staying here, touching the history, touching the memory about our ancestors. Okay? Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Bye. Bye. And in the very end, just one more panorama. Okay? One more panorama.
Давай фоткай. Только без этой сумки ужасной.
See you tomorrow.
Кстати, убери отзеркаливание. Просто у меня отзеркаливание. Можно там нажать править, и там будет убрать отзеркаливание. Ты обрежку пиши.
Россия. Россия.
Берем дальше вот сюда вот нажимаем, вот так, вот это направление не надо, вот так вот, вот сюда, чтобы отзеркаливать. Почему? Потому что отзеркаливает фото. Так же лучше. С отзеркаливанием мне короче не смотрите. И волосы тоже. Видишь, как он срезает направление. Ну, я вот это удалила. Я это удалила.